Good evening, everybody. Kevin J. Johnston here. This is the Real Estate and Money Show that plays every single Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight we're going to talk about your credit score and how to protect your credit score, how to not harm yourself. I think is more importantly what the credit score thing is all about for tonight's show. I mean, I really want to make sure that we're delving deeply into what is both right and wrong with the FICO score system that we have in Canada and the United States. I'm sure many of you have gone out to apply for loans at some point in the past, and you've probably been denied at some point in the past. I think all of us have at some point. And with being denied a loan or just an opportunity even to rent, it's soul crushing. It's heartbreaking. And typically you have no idea why you've been crushed, why you can't get that loan, why you cannot rent that place, why you can't get the car lease that you want, why you can't get a simple $500 credit card. These are things that are very important to understand. Now, I don't have all of the answers because unfortunately, FICO score algorithms are quite hidden from the public. They don't really tell us what they're basing all the positive stuff on, but I do have some of what to do. However, even though I don't have all the positive stuff that you can do, I've got the vast majority of the negative stuff that you can avoid to keep your credit score in good standing. So first things first is you want to talk about how you can find out what your credit score is. There are two major corporations in North America that people will go to check your credit score when you're applying for anything, any kind of credit whatsoever, or any kind of lease or rent. All right, that would be Equifax, EQUIFAX, Equifax.com in Canada. It's .ca. And the other one is TransUnion. Now, as far as I am concerned, these are criminal entities. What they do is they give you a credit score, but you never ask them to. Isn't that strange? They have your entire credit history that you never asked them to create. They have a credit score for you that you never asked them once to keep on. They're keeping records on your spending habits that you've never given permission for them to do. But somehow, if you've got a social security number in the States or a social insurance number in Canada, somehow they will know that you have these very things. So how do we combat this nonsense? And it is nonsense. All right. For TransUnion and for Equifax, all of you have to find out what your FICO score is. It goes, I think as low as 300, it goes all the way to 950. If you have a FICO score of 750 or higher, you're going to be pretty good at getting bank loans out there. And there is a way to get that to happen. I'll cover as much as I can in the next 52 minutes because it's only an hour show, everybody. How do you get your score? Well, Equifax and TransUnion, because of whatever deals that they've signed with the government, have to give you one free credit score of your own each year. So you go to their website, equifax.com or .ca, transunion.com or .ca, and you give them your necessary identification. Don't use a driver's license. If you've got a passport, always use your passport for any form of identification in Canada. Anytime at all that you want to know or do anything for that matter, it's passport only. It's nobody's business where you live. I know that a lot of you out there don't think that you've got the right to have your driver's license go to a PO box, and many of you can't afford to have one, but maybe 10 or 20 friends should all get together and have a PO box, split the cost, and send your driver's license there, just so that there is nobody spying around your house looking for what you got. All right. And the reason I say that is as a podcaster, unfortunately, when I was podcasting in Calgary in 2021, everybody in the city knew where I lived. They all knew that there was going to be a podcast taking place there. So we always had to double lock and triple lock our doors. So we had the front door was locked. We put a steel cage over the window of the room that we used, and we installed an extra door in the hallway and put a lock on that just to buy time if anybody chose to break in. It sucks when people know where you live. So don't let anyone know where you live. But you are allowed to get yourself that free credit score, and you got to find out everything on that credit report that is harming you. Now, you have the right to object to everything on your credit score when you get it. Now, don't be silly and object to everything at the same time. What you got to do is you got to pick on small stuff. So what you got to look out for is late payments on credit cards. You got to look out for a bill you didn't pay and figure out who it was you didn't pay it to. You got to look for what's called the R9. R9 is when you just completely abandon a debt. All right. How do these things get there? Well, people that you didn't pay will put it there. Sometimes people you don't like will put it there to damage your credit score, damage your reputation. So you want to begin writing simple letters, send them registered mail to Equifax saying that you have no idea what that is. It seems like it's either erroneous or it's fraudulent. Please remove it. And they are obligated at that point to prove that there was a debt. You don't have to prove there is no debt. They have to prove that there is one. If there's going to be an R9 or any particular type of complaint on Equifax or TransUnion, you've got to demand in your letter, what is it? Who's the contract with? Where did it come from? Why is it there? And they've got to prove all that. If they can't prove it, you have to demand you deal with this in 30 days or you must remove it, and they will remove it. R9s are a bit more difficult if it's a credit card company, because obviously the credit card company will be able to prove it, but we can still argue it. You want to make sure that each time you get something off your credit score, that you send another letter in complaining about the next thing. Get your credit score to be patched up as quickly as is possible. Now, what is it based on? Well, here's a graphic, everybody. I got to put this white piece of paper here so you can see all the numbers. All right. 30% of your credit score is based on the amounts that are owed. 10% is on new credit that you acquire. 15% is the length of your credit history. I'll move the microphone here. 10% would be credit mix. It's not really defined all that well. And 35% will be your payment history. Okay, where do we begin with this? Let's say you just are starting off in life and you want to build some credit. How do you do it? Well, you would apply for a simple credit card, get yourself the minimal amount, which is a $500 credit card. They usually will just give those out to everybody. They really will. Go to a bank machine, take a cash withdrawal, hide the money somewhere. A week later, pay it off. Do it again, pay it off. Do it again, pay it off. Just keep doing this. So while you're taking cash withdrawals on your credit card, now don't make purchases because you got to pay for the purchase. You're taking out cash and you're going to put it back on. Yes, you're going to pay a transaction fee, depending on the machine, $1, $5. It's going to be something like that, but you're building credit. You're building a history of paying